Assalamu alaikum. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about reported speech. Okay, so basically, what is reported speech? We use reported speech to tell another person what someone said. So consider this situation. This lady is talking, and then this man listened to what she said, and now he's conveying this message to this man, to the other guy, Peter. And so, like, she's saying, I like Peter. Now, this man, the middle one, is saying, she said she liked you. Now, this is reported speech. Let's take the grammatical rules behind reported speech. The main verbs used in reported speech are said and told. Told requires the use of an object. You have to have an object. Whereas said doesn't need an object. Let me give you some examples. He told me. So the object here in the situation is me. He told me. You cannot say he told that. Nope. You have to use an object. He told her, he told me, he told you. There has to be an object. So the object in the situation is the pronoun me, I, you, and so on, that he wasn't coming. If you want to rewrite the same sentence using said, you can say that he said that he wasn't coming. Now, you could also add to me, but it's optional. It's not required. You can just say he said that he wasn't coming without an object, or you can say he said to me that he wasn't coming with an object, but it's optional. Here it's not optional. Okay. The most important thing that you need to remember in reported speech is that you change the time one step backwards. What does that mean? It means if the sentence is in the present, you change it to the past, one step. Okay, but if it's in the past already, you change it to the past of the past, which is the past perfect, one step. Let's look at some examples. I like traveling. That's the present. So you say that he said that he liked traveling. You change it to the past. I'm leaving tomorrow. That's the present continuous. He said that he was leaving the next day. So I am becomes was. And of course, I changes to he because it's a different subject now. And then tomorrow changes to the next day because maybe tomorrow is not tomorrow. Maybe he said that like 2 days ago or 3 days ago. So tomorrow was a day after he said that, and it's not tomorrow of today. You understand what I'm saying? I'll always love you. He told me that he would always love me. Modals like will and would and can and may, they change. Will changes to would, can changes to could, may changes to might, and must changes to had to. So he told me that he would always love me. More examples. I passed the exam. That's the past. So we say he said that he had passed the exam. It changes into the past of the past, which is the past perfect. I forgotten my keys. This is the present perfect. He said that he had forgotten his keys. It also becomes the past perfect. So you change the past simple into the past perfect, and you also change the present perfect into the past perfect. I can't come. He said that he couldn't come. Can becomes could. I may be late. He said that he might be late. May becomes might. I must go. He said that he had to go. Must becomes had to. Now, how about reported questions? What if it's a question, not a sentence? All the previous examples were sentences, not questions. But now we're going to talk about questions. Basically, there are two types of questions. There is the yes or no question. A yes or no question is a question which is answered by saying yes or no. For example, if you ask me, are you married? I'll reply by saying yes, I am, or no, I'm not. So that's why we call it a yes or no question. Are you married? Now, in this case, if it's a yes or no question, you use if or whether. She asked me if or whether I was married. Of course, again, you have to change the present into the past. Did you call? She asked me if or whether I had called. You change the past into the past perfect, the past of the past. The other type of questions is called WH questions. They are the ones that start with WH words like what, where, why, whose, which, and also how. In this case, make sure you put the question in the sentence form, not the question form. For example, what's your name? This is the question form. You put the verb before the subject. Now, if you want to report it, you say, she asked me what my name was. You put the verb at the end after the subject because now it's a sentence. It's not a question. So what is your name becomes what my name was at the end. Another example. Where do you live? She asked me where I lived. What happened here? We remove do because do is related to the question form. Now it's not a question, it's a sentence. So you remove do and you say where I lived. You use the past. Got it? Want to take some examples? Some exercises so you can understand? Okay. Now you need to grab a pen and a piece of paper and complete these sentences using reported speech. I'm selling all my books. So my brother said, yeah, continue. He, and then continue. You need to take some time, pause the screen, please, write down the answers, and then I'm going to show you the correct answers so you can find out if you've made mistakes or not. Okay. Look at the answers. I'm selling all my books. So my brother said he was selling all his books. We changed the present continuous into the past continuous. And of course, I becomes he because he's my brother. He was selling all his books. My books becomes his books. I have booked the flights. Emma told me that she had booked. Present perfect becomes past perfect, the flights. And that is optional here. You can use that or remove it. You can just say, Emma told me she had booked the flights, or she told me that she had booked the flights is optional. Your new dress doesn't suit you. My mother told me that my new dress, your becomes my new dress, and that is optional too. Didn't suit me, doesn't, present becomes the past. I may not be able to go to the party. Matt said that he might not be able to go to the party. So may becomes might. I won't wear those shoes again. I'm sorry, I won't wear these shoes again. Jenny said that she wouldn't wear. So won't becomes wouldn't. Will not becomes would not. Wouldn't wear these shoes again. More exercises. You need to do the same thing. Complete the sentences using reported speech. Pause the screen, write down your answers, and then compare them with the answers that I'm going to show you in a few seconds. Okay. I didn't buy a present becomes my girlfriend told me that she hadn't bought me a present. The past becomes the past perfect. And again, that is optional. I must get a dress for the party. Rachel said that she had. Must becomes had to get a dress for the party. I haven't been to go to the gym for a long time. Kevin said that he hadn't been to the gym for a long time. Haven't been becomes hadn't been. Present perfect becomes past perfect. I found a bargain at the sale. My sister told me that she had found a bargain at the sale. Past becomes past perfect. I can't find anywhere to park. Luke told me that he couldn't find anywhere to park. In this part, we've got nothing but questions. So what you need to do is to report them, like change them into reported speech. So pause the screen and write down your answers. And then in a few seconds, I'm going to show you the correct answers. Okay. When are you leaving? My parents asked me when I was leaving. So are you becomes I was. We changed the location of the subject and the verb because it's a sentence now, it's not a question, right? Here you've got the verb before the subject, but in this situation, you've got the verb after the subject. Have you ever been engaged? She asked him if he had ever. You see, we changed the location. Not have you, he had ever been engaged. And we changed the present perfect into past perfect, of course. Will you be home early? Anna asked Liam if or whether. Of course, you can use if or whether here in the situation. He would be home early. So will becomes would, and then we change the location of the subject. We put it before the modal, not after the modal. Where do you usually buy your clothes? My sister asked me where I usually bought. We remove do, of course. Bought my clothes. Did you wear a suit to the job interview? We asked him if or whether, of course, he had worn. Past becomes past perfect. A suit to the job interview. More examples. Take some time, change these questions into reported speech, and then I'm going to show you the answers in a few seconds. Okay. Do you ever go to the theater? I asked Lisa if she ever went to the theater. Do you ever? If she ever went to the theater, we'll change the present into the past. What time will you arrive? He asked us what time we would. Will becomes would. And of course, the location of the subject and the verb is very important. How much money did you spend at the sale? I asked my girlfriend how much money she had spent at the sale. Can you help me? Sally asked the police officer if he could. We change can into could, and the location of the subject and the verb is very important. Help her. What size are you? The salesperson asked me what size I was, right? What size I was, not was I, because it's a sentence now. Or maybe if you wanna make it I am, taking into consideration that my size is still the same, it hasn't changed, no problems. You wanna keep it in the present, no problems. It's acceptable. So you could have this form, the past, or the present tense, no problems. I hope today's lesson was useful. Thank you so much for your time. Assalamu alaikum.